Adani Transmission, I think it's India's biggest private utility. It's facing a major funding gap, and that of course could mean that it has some of its expansion plans thwarted, and also that thwarts the government efforts to expand energy infrastructure as well. Now, tell us a little bit about this.
Rish, did I forget to mention Gujarat, where the IPL match played out, is also the home state to Gautam Adani of the Adani Group.
Now, MS Dhoni as well.
MS Dhoni is actually from South India, so and he won the IPL, so that seems to be an interesting sort of outcome. But the Adani Group, look, on the face of it, it seems like it's ridden out that Hindenburg storm. Many of the group company stocks have recovered, but that recovery is yet to be tested, because let's not forget, the Adani Group is in several very capital-intensive businesses, and we still need to see whether the stock price recovery and the general recovery of that group from the Hindenburg onslaught is good enough and strong enough to withstand further capital raising. Now, that's the story that Bloomberg's Advait Palepu talks about when he speaks about Adani Transmission needing a bunch of money over the course of the next 2 years just to fulfill its existing projects. Advait joins us now with more details. Advait, what can you tell us about the number of, or the amount of funds that the Adani Transmission Company needs to be able to meet just the current requirements?
Good morning, Menaka. So Adani Transmission has grown rapidly over the last 7 years, from about 5,000 kilometers worth of transmission lines to about 20,000 kilometers. So they have about 13 projects, transmission lines that are under construction or have been completed but are yet to operationalize. Because of the pandemic, cost overruns, delays in environmental clearances, a lot of these projects have stretched timelines. Their budgets have been stretched, which requires additional debt funding from the parent company and from banks, as well as additional equity. So last month in March, the India Ratings, a unit of Fitch Ratings in India, had put out a note saying that the equity requirement for Adani Transmission to complete these transmission lines would go up to about $700 million. The company is in the midst of raising about $1 billion. Its board has approved a plan to raise $1 billion over the course of the next coming months. And ostensibly, this will be used to fund these projects, complete these projects, as well as for future capex plans. The Indian government plans to add about 27,000 kilometers worth of transmission lines over the next 2 years. Undoubtedly, Adani would look to acquire some of these transmission lines, some of these concession agreements throughout auction processes that will take place over the next 2 years. So this $1 billion will go for the existing projects that need funding, for new projects that they've won the concession agreements for since the start of this year, as well as future projects that they might win as part of the auctions that the Ministry of Power and other regulators put out.
Advait, are there implications? What are the implications of this proposed fundraising?
So I think in the last 6 months, we've seen the Adani stocks take a beating, but in the last 2 months, they seem to have recovered. However, Adani Transmission still seems to be fairly weak. It's trading around 67% from year to date. In a sense, if the company is able to raise these funds, it would signal that investors are willing to bet on Adani's large ambitions on capital expenditure and infrastructure, and it would signal that a return for the company back to its aggressive growth strategy, its aggressive acquisition strategy, its mainstay position within the private infrastructure market within India.